Hey, this is Darren with Sales Northwest. We're manufacturers rep here in the Seattle area. Today I wanted to talk about one of our newer product lines that we represent, which is Skilsaw. Skilsaw is a brand that everybody knows. It's been around since 1924. It's the original circular saw that built America, they say. Skilsaw has been through a lot of changes over the last few years. In particular, they've been sold 2 or 3 different times. The brand keeps moving around to different companies. Last it was owned by Bosch Power Tools, and now it's owned by a new company. And the great thing about change is the new company has taken the Skilsaw brand and technology and expanded it quite a bit around a whole different category of tools. But as everybody knows, this is the original Skilsaw, 7 1/4 framing saw. Your pros use it. It's well known. It's the most powerful tool in the industry. It's still the original worm drive motor that they started with in 1924. It's now, like I said, been incorporated into a lot of other tools, and tools that are designed to cut into different types of materials. So as I was saying, Skilsaw now has a wide variety of tools available. The first tool I want to show you, which of course is the worm drive driven tool. You can see the worm drive motor here, but they have introduced the Medusa a couple of years ago, and this saw in particular is designed to cut concrete. And the great thing about the worm drive motor and the low torque, when you're cutting through hard aggregate or hard dense materials like concrete, the worm drive holds up and it just powers on through. It comes set up to work wet or dry. We have the adapter for the dry vacuum here, which attaches up onto your handle piece. You can see it has a little quick clamp on there as well. As an option, you can add, or not an option, it's standard with the tool, but as an option, if you want to run it wet, this does have a hose feed with a shut-off valve on here. This attaches up underneath the shroud of the tool and will wet both sides of the blade. Another material that we've been asked, does Skilsaw offer a tool to cut through steel? And the answer is yes, and it is also in the worm drive configuration. The great thing about this steel cutter, it does come with a catch-all for your chips, so it does remove. You can empty out your chips out of here and it will reinstall right back on the blade. It captures the majority of the metal chips that are flying out, so it's very safe as opposed to putting it on an open shroud Skilsaw. You might have chips flying up. You always have that opportunity to get something in your eye. This is a better tool for that application. Now back to our wood cutting worm drive Skilsaws. The legendary tool, the 7 1/4 that we already talked about, well known, comes in a couple of different varieties. This is the lighter weight magnesium base version. The way you can tell at a glance which tool it is it has the red handle. Our standard aluminum, which is a couple pounds heavier than this one, has a gray handle, but these are both 7 1/4 inch. We see a big trend towards a lighter weight tool. We also see a trend towards needing to cut bigger lumber, and that's several years ago Skilsaw came out with the 10 1/4 Sasquatch, we call it. It's a great tool for needing to cut 4x and doing some heavy duty framing and cutting. Again, 10 1/4 inch blade. It does come with a little bit bigger worm drive motor on it to support that extra torque and power needed. And it does come standard with the magnesium base. Obviously, you start getting into the bigger tools, weight's a consideration. Last year, in 2018, Skilsaw introduced their Super Sasquatch, which is the next tool up. And that's your beam cutter, your 16 5/16 blade saw. Now this is a horse, right? And there's been other tools on the market similar to it for cutting beams. This one in particular is about 4 pounds or 5 pounds lighter than any competitive unit on the market. It does also have that magnesium base, and it also is driven by that legendary worm drive motor. The great thing about the Skilsaws in all the worm drive family here is Skilsaw offers a 180-day stay true guarantee. That means at any time you can try this tool out. If you're not satisfied with it, take it back to where you got it within 180 days. Money back guarantee, no questions asked. we have very few of them come back, and it speaks to the quality of the tool. The latest tool that Skilsaw has introduced that incorporates our worm drive motor is the sliding compound miter saw. This saw has a 12-inch blade, which gives it real good capacity. It's very lightweight, has the magnesium base on it. It's the lightest tool in its class, in a 12-inch tool class. In fact, it weighs similar to what a 10-inch miter saw would be. The advantage of having this motor mounted up here at the back part of the blade is that we don't have the motor hanging down one side or the other, limiting our angles of cut to the left or to the right. With this, in the case of this one, we're able to move this saw to this angle or swing it all the way back around down to this angle without any of the motor hitting onto your material or onto your tool. That gives you a tremendous capacity and range of cut with this saw. The latest introduction of the concrete saws, or the Medu saws, is our walk-behind unit. This one has taken off tremendously as far as popularity goes. It's set up to carry that 7-inch blade on there, cut wet or dry just like the handheld unit. But the advantage of this one, if you're making long straight, maybe expansion joint cuts, or need a long straight line, this one you're actually on your feet, you're not down on your knees, and you've got a straight line to follow. We have the guide out front, which flips down and gives you a solid line mark to follow, your chalk line. There's also, on this one, as I mentioned, you've got the hose feed comes with it with the water shut off. It does have a hand attachment here as well, with a nice storage in the base plate, so that you can operate this thing with two hands and have a steady straight cut. Two other nice features with this saw. For different height workers, there is an adjustment available on the handle, so you can raise and lower this to different heights, to whatever's comfortable for the worker. Then when you're done using the tool, for storage, you don't have to try to store this as a big unit. It does fold up. This will flip back up and it will drop into a supplied carry-all bag. Really nice to be able to get it compact, to be able to throw in your truck box and have it locked up out of sight, out of mind. Hey, thanks for taking a look at some of the new tools from Skilsaw. I think you'll really be impressed if you give them a try. There's other new tools coming that we're going to talk about that are in the market now. We'll get to that in our next video. Just remember our 180-day stay true guarantee, money back guarantee. Also, if you have questions about our products, feel free to visit the Skilsaw website noted below or make a comment on our page. And thanks for visiting.